This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake that body.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Just from that trailer alone, this is a movie that I want to go see today.
Gangster.
Okay. It's starring someone that I've always felt like, I just fell in love with this dude as an actor ever since I saw Blood In, Blood Out as a kid growing up. Well, I wasn't a kid at that 1993, but when I was younger.
Yeah.
I kind of overstepped right there, Heather. When I was younger in 1993.
That's okay.
And it talked about gang culture, you know, and on the West Coast, specifically in the Mexican neighborhoods. And it just, the portrayal to me at that time was such an inside point of view that I fell in love with the movie and I fell in love with the actors. And to watch his career grow and continue to grow, and watching him on Law and Order as Detective Curtis, and just watching all the different work he's done from Traffic. Traffic. Miss Congeniality was, y'all said.
It was good, Sway. I know it's a girl movie, but it was good.
Not
your Stiles.
No, that wasn't me. But Despicable Me Too, that was me. All right? Okay, it's a difference. Benjamin Bratt is here, ladies and gentlemen. Man, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, Sway.
Dude, what is your secret? You need skin products. Like
a line of skin products?
I gotta start my own line.
You need your own line. Look at this, dude. It's like how many animals were sacrificed for his how much lamb blood, rabbit blood you drink to look this good?
I always if I look good at all, it's because I attribute it to the love of a good woman. Have you seen my wife?
Yeah, man. You don't mind that I saw her?
Well, you know, she was a famous model at one time and an actress herself. So if you saw the pictures, I can't fault you.
Yeah, right. You understand?
I understand.
Okay, beautiful. She's
I'm
a beautiful
human.
person. You're human. What did you say to her to even make her take you seriously?
Well, you know, we speaking of Blood In, Blood Out, we met at an audition for that film back in 1991. And the funny thing about that is when she came into audition, she at the time was a very famous model. I think she had done the James Bond movie. When she walked out of the door, I turned to the director, Taylor Hackford, and I said, "Man, you have to hire her because I would marry that woman." Wow. And she walked out the door. Long story short, I tried to get her number. She wasn't giving it up. I found out that she was involved with someone, and I said, "Okay, but did she think I was cute? Was she flattered that I asked?" And the casting director told me, "No, she just said that she's not giving out her number and she's happily involved with someone else." So I was struck by two things. One is, man, that woman has integrity. And two, that's a lucky mofo that she's with.
Right.
So cut to 12 years later, we ended up doing a film together called Piñero, based on the New Yorican famous poet and playwright Miguel Piñero down the Lower East Side. And, by the time we were out promoting that film, we fell in love with each other. And 6 months into it, I said, "Will you be mine?" And started a family right then and there.
Wow. But can I ask you, Ben, when a woman does that, does it make you want her more? Like when the integrity and the saying, "No, I don't give out my number," does it make you kind of like, that's the one I got to get?
In this case, for sure. And what I discovered was that over the course of making that film with her and just being friends, obviously she's clearly one of the finest women on the planet, but I was struck by the integrity that she has. She's clearly an old-fashioned girl. And that's kind of a dying breed. I'm of that same generation. I was born in the 60s. I'm not going to say when, because I got lamb's blood behind me.
Lamb's blood. Nobody believed you anyway. 81.
But I met her family. Here's the thing. We both work in this business. She's been to the top of the mountain. She's seen the view, and she knows what she needs. It's not private planes and lavish clothes and the most expensive homes. It's a home life where a mother and a father are present, where children are the center of your universe, and that's how it is for us. We keep it very simple, and that's what is the key to our successful marriage. We've been married for 15 years, and to me, it feels like 15 days sometimes.
What were you like prior to getting married? I feel like you was a slayer,
young and loose.
There it is,
young and on the prowl. I was, I went to graduate school in San Francisco at the American Conservatory Theater.
Are you from the Bay?
Yeah, born and raised in San Francisco, right in the city.
Here we go.
So, a proper Giants fan, gotta be.
Sway.
Don't hate.
Stop.
Don't hate.
What do you mean stop?
Don't start. There's two people back to back from the Bay.
Who else?
Snow the Product artist from San Jose. You know, Benjamin Bratt here from San Francisco. He got his teams wrong. Me being from Oakland, California. You know, Oakland Athletics fan, of course.
Of course.
Of course. You don't mind that, right?
I can't fault you.
What part of the city you grew up in?
It was called Glen Park, and you know, a lot of my stomping ground was the Mission District, which is the you know, the Latin hub of the city.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my first job was in the Mission on 14th and Valencia, the American Indian Center, which was kind of like our Boys and Girls Club for my brothers and sisters. In the early 70s, my mom was an activist involved in AIM. That was kind of, you know, playing pool and ping pong and hanging out, going to powwows there. That was sort of like the center of the universe for us.
Like real powwows, Heather.
Yeah.
I get it, Sway. Shut up.
As opposed to what?
You know, people say, let's go have a powwow.
Oh, right,
it's
like
not
a meeting.
It's not the traditional.
No, this is bells and feathers. Yeah.
I used to work at the UPS hub right there on 16th.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I swear I used to load flatbeds every morning.
Do you know what? When I was in graduate school, because I went back to my hometown for graduate school, I was driving the blue and yellow super shuttle vans.
Yeah.
10-hour shifts on Saturday and Sunday. And that was kind of
that was your joint, right?
That was the way to survive.
I used to work for Ocean Seafood Products, that, you know, the meatpacking district in San Francisco, and I used to deliver frozen shrimp to the restaurants in downtown San Francisco.
Awesome.
So I worked on KMEL for years.
Oh, you
at
did?
The radio station.
Yeah.
Man, this is my brother. I knew it was something about him, man. Oh, man.
Hey, was Greg Kinn, was he a DJ on KMEL?
That might have been beef.
Remember Greg Kinn? We had the Greg Kinn band.
I remember Greg Kinn. I don't know. When I came to KMEL, was in the 90s. Was he there in the 90s? Was he around in there?
Oh, man. Yeah, I got some years on you, huh?
Yeah. No, I just came there in the 90s.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I worked long and hard too, man.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt from the Bay.
He's from the Bay, man.
That explains it, man.
Are you a Golden State Warrior fan too?
You know, it's funny because truth be told, I didn't follow basketball. I followed baseball, and you know, it takes a lot to be a devoted fan. It's a very time-consuming thing.
I'm trying to tell you, Heather.
But I have a 10-year-old son, Mateo, who is he's a killer. He's a phenomenal athlete in both baseball and basketball. And so he's educated me of late as to the beauty of the game, and it's remarkable, really. And that series between the Cavs and Golden State was phenomenal. Of course, I know there were some controversial calls. People were upset. But you got to give it to Game 7.
Man, this interview was going heavenly.
It's going sideways.
Until you did that.
Going sideways.
Benjamin.
Hey, Benjamin.
That's Mike Muse right there.
Should we just wrap it up now, Sway?
I'm out.
I thought we were brothers,
When it gets
man.
tricky, they toss it to me, Benjamin. On our show, we have this platform, and we talked a lot about politics. We talk a lot about policy. And so lately, a theme has been entertainers and celebrities who come up here. We ask them about the responsibility that platform comes with it. And so I was curious about, we know that a lot of your platform is Native Americans, Native American history, Native American College Fund. I'm just curious about when our country talks about immigration, that seems to get lost. Immigration seems to be only about Hispanics and Latino Americans. I'm wondering your take on how do we insert more of the Native American experience and culture and history into this conversation of immigration to lend itself to funding to talk about some disparity of economic gaps between Native Americans, the educational gaps that the College Fund kind of supports. So how to begin to wrap that into the conversation?
You know, that's a really complex and deep question.
And long, but
happy to answer.
Effective.
But a simple,
It's a complicated issue.
No, but a simple, straightforward answer is, I think the first step is we have to have, as a nation, a larger conversation about the racial dynamics in the country. And that includes a discussion on how this country was founded. Mm-hmm. This country, inarguably, was built upon the backs of slave labor.
Yeah.
And where did those slaves come from? They were taken, they were kidnapped through the Middle Passage and sold. Yeah. And that was the establishment of major commercial commerce here. And you know, to talk about Native Americans, this wasn't some fantasy island where there was no one here, just a bunch of animals and beautiful trees. There were millions and millions of indigenous people that lived here that fought for their lives and lost everything: their culture, their spiritual heritage, their language, their songs. Many of this is based on their oral histories. It was all taken away, and to the degree that it remains, it's still treated as not valid because it's not Western way of thinking. And so a conversation has to happen from the top down, where there's a formal acknowledgement of these dynamics, that the strength of this country and what it was founded on was built upon the strength of our diversity. And whether you're talking about Italians or Spaniards or Portuguese or French or Native American or Black or Asian or Middle Eastern, whatever those influences are, that's what makes us strong and beautiful today. And we have to mine that. We have to focus on that to find the solution. I don't have the solution, but it has to start with a conversation that is inclusive, that includes everyone and acknowledges the crimes of our past. Because you look at a history book these days and there's maybe 2 pages about the slave experience or 2 pages about, the beautiful natives that were here, that were so welcoming to us. And now we have Thanksgiving. No, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that black and white. And so it's a much deeper issue. And so it has to start with that kind of conversation first.
Benjamin Bratt, ladies and gentlemen. The new film is The Infiltrator. I'm going to take your calls. You want to speak with them, 888-742-3345. We're going to talk about this film as well. Sway the Morning Shade 4-5. That was easily one of my favorite music.
I haven't heard that in a minute, I have to tell you. Top
10, Blood In, Blood Out, man. Benjamin Bratt was in it. We got a lot of folks on the phone line. We're going to talk about the Infiltrator momentarily, but since these folks want to know about Blood In, Blood Out, we got Jason on the line from Maryland.
Jason,
what up, Jay?
Hey, how you doing? I'm a big fan of Ben Bratt, so I just got a quick question before I hang up so you can answer. I ran into that flick a long time ago, and I watched for the first 20 minutes, and then again, you can't stop watching that film. How close are you with the crew and the cast of that film, and how often do you put that in to watch?
It's funny.
I'm going to hang up and listen.
Okay.
All right. He knows how this works.
Wow.
All right.
It's you must have called in before because he got it down.
Yeah.
No, Sway and I were just talking about this over the break that Jesse Borrego, who plays Cruz, the artist in that movie, Blood In, Blood Out, he remains my brother from another mother. In fact, my brother and I, who's a filmmaker, a writer, and a director, we have put him in 2 of the movies we made so far, Follow Me Home and more recently La Misión, which is about the Mission District and life in the Latin hub of the city of San Francisco. So, the thing about that job, like a lot of jobs, is you meet some special people and you aim to keep them in your life for years and years. And he's one of them. He's a beautiful man. He's a true artist and got a soul of gold for real.
All right. We got Lewis on the line. He's from the I hope I say this correctly. the Lapway Indian Reservation, right, Lewis?
That way. Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes. Lapway. Okay, go ahead.
That's First Indian Reservation, Idaho. I just want to give props to Benjamin Bratt for speaking on some Native issues. Like often we get forgot about, like in the main topics. The only thing that we gets covered is the mascot issue, which is an issue, I believe. But I mean, we have bigger issues than that.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks for your call. All right, man. We got Mike on the line from Oklahoma. What up, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Heather B and Sway and everyone. Heather B, this is me I was on there this morning. I got through this morning about the drunken state, but I missed that. But my thing is, I actually met Benjamin Bratt. He's been just like since Blood In, Blood Out. But he's been my favorite actor. Every accomplishment he made, from the Law and Order to even the Murder, Death, Kill movie. Mr. Benjamin, what movie was that? Murder,
Demolition
Death,
Man.
Kill?
Murder, Death, Kill?
I hated that movie, but I paid for it. I hated that movie.
I hated the movie, he said, but I appreciated your work in it. Thank you, man.
That's real.
Oh, man.
I actually met you in 1995 at an Easter dinner over at Alfred Woodard's house.
Oh, is that right?
And I think Fanny from Garcia Bouvier, both whatever her name was.
Oh, from Jamie Foxx show.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't even an actress yet. She had just did the R. Kelly video, but I actually met you out there. I was like the thug dude with the Jerry curl, because I'm from Oklahoma, and I actually had to.
That's where Alfred's from, yeah.
Wow.
I remember that dinner. That was a nice dinner.
Yeah, man.
Y'all should be
That was a
pen
nice
pals.
caller. He's gone. All right, DB.
Oh, God. Sway
good
hang
thing-
up on people fast.
If you get too long-winded and you going as redundant, it's live, man. I gotta let you go. You got.
I better watch myself.
Yeah,
then.
man.
I had a Demolition Man clip ready too. I'm glad we didn't play that shit.
Okay,
Good.
All right.
It was the hot dog song. I'm gonna guess you didn't want to hear that again. But anyway, I want to talk to you about the Infiltrator.
Many of us have made bad decisions. Like you
I love
got
the
to
Demolition
make a
Man, though,
living.
man. Come on, that was.
I like Demolition
I just want to know how you wipe your ass with the shells. That's the only thing I want to ask about it.
That's
Wait, hold up. What?
That's the MacGuffin. That's the MacGuffin. There's no answer to it. That's why it's such a fascinating ponderance. You know,
It's kind of like what's in the briefcase of Pulp Fiction. Like you just
you never know. You never know. Yeah, keeps you guessing.
You got us guessing what y'all talking about. What?
Let's talk gangster. Let's
talk gangster. Let's talk Infiltrator.
All right, Infiltrator. So Bryan Cranston plays this guy who goes undercover. He takes his name off a gravestone. He goes undercover to try to take down Pablo Escobar. You play Robert, who's kind of like his guy, whatever, that reports to Pablo. These kind of movies are always cool because you get to see stuff that sometimes the government doesn't want you to know about. So were there any kind of like security barriers or anything that you had to go through? Like, we can let you know about this information with the case, because it is based on a true story, right?
It is. All of the stuff is now declassified. It's all part of, Freedom of Information Act, so you can access this stuff. Yeah, the fascinating thing about this movie, it's a true gangster picture. Yeah. And, we're talking about Blood In, Blood Out. Mm-hmm. American moviegoers and global filmgoers, for that matter, they love a good gangster epic. And that's what this is from start to finish. What makes it different is it's based on a real event that unfolded in the early 1980s, which is the era of the cocaine cowboy, where Dade County, Miami, Tampa, all that area had the highest murder rate per capita in the country, in large part due to the influx of cocaine and the money that was coming as a result. So what happens is, at the heart of the film is you have Bryan Cranston playing an actual guy named Robert Mazer, who wrote a book about his experience, where he went deep undercover over the course of 4 years, and instead of following the drugs, decided to follow the money. And what he discovered was there were otherwise legitimate bankers at a bank called BCCI, which is the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, that were knowingly, openly laundering the dirty drug money for the Pablo Escobar cartel, the Medellin cartel. And so at the heart of the movie, you have this guy who is ready for retirement, but says one last caper. He goes deep undercover, and he begins to befriend some of these bankers and, of course, some of the lieutenants of the Medellin cartel. I play Roberto Alcaíno, who's based on a real guy. He's still around. And they strike up what becomes an unlikely friendship. This guy is clearly, from afar anyway, easily defined as a bad guy. And what we discover, though, is that this bad guy, not unlike a lot of good guys, walks in a kind of gray area. He actually is in possession of qualities that we all seek in our friends and our family members. He seems to be a deeply loyal friend. He's successful and smart at what he does. He's worldly and charming. He's a family man. He's a man of God. He's a doting father and a loving husband. And he thinks he's found a kind of mirror image in Bryan Cranston's character. Of course, he doesn't know he's being suckered. He doesn't know he's being duped. So this friendship emerges, and by the time the film reaches its apex, you're sucked in.
Wow.
And what we've been really struck by is, as tension and as taut as this movie is, and even though you know what's coming, it's not unlike the Titanic. We know what happens. The ship goes down.
Yeah.
So this is based on a real event. We know 85 people were indicted as a result of this endeavor. You're sucked in. You don't want the bad guy to fall, and it takes you along for the ride, and it's going to be interesting to see your reaction. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, man. Shit, the way you just described it, man. Man, I want to be there right now watching it. Narcos was very popular on Netflix. You talk about this movie. What is our fascination with these kind of movies?
I think in part, like if you look at Blood In, Blood Out, you look at Scarface, you look at The Godfather, it's a kind of twisted look at the whole Horatio Alger story, where a person who comes from nothing, and a lot of young people in our communities, our minority communities, can relate to this, where you're disenfranchised, you're marginalized, and so the only way up, and the American dream is to ascend, right? To achieve material wealth and some kind of fame, perhaps, is to take it by any means necessary. By wit, by humor, by intelligence, by force. And so that's part of our American motif. That's how we sort of define ourselves. And that sort of is reflected in this film. The twist here is that you have a good guy who's going undercover to take down a guy who views life that way, and begins to, on some level, be enamored by it. He actually is, and John's character too, for that matter, because he also goes undercover. They're turned on by this process of trying to, as they cozy up to the bad guys, they have to become bad guys themselves.
Yeah. Oh man, that's exciting, man. Ben Bratt. thank you for coming through, man.
What a pleasure.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt, ladies and gentlemen. You've had a tremendous career, bro. And you seem like a awesome person, man. Congratulations on all your success.
I appreciate it, Sway.
Absolutely. And whatever animal blood you drinking, let's just market it, put it on the market, man. Just a youth serum, whatever you doing, man. I'm down with you, man. I want to be a silent investor. All right. Thank you for coming by, Benjamin Bratt. The Infiltrator's in theaters today, so make sure you watch it.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.